So, a pleasant morning to all of you. This time, we will be talking about our chapter 3 or module 3 lesson, which is about ethics in business technology. So, for our intended learning outcomes, so by the end of this topic or chapter, you must be able to discuss the ethical business strategies, analyze a case study, and explain the importance of proper conduct in virtual space. Before we proceed to our topic, let me ask you this following question. Have you ever taken more tissues in a restaurant more than you had needed? Have you ever steal a pen from an establishment that you have visited? It's either a bank or anything that uses their pen and you accidentally brought them home? Accidentally? Really? And lastly, do you think it is okay to sneak a peek in your loved one's social media account? If your answer is yes, do you think your action is right or wrong? Or do you think they are wrong? So, how do you say so? So, this time, those are the different ethical issues or common ethical decisions that we confront in our daily lives. By studying ethics, we'll be able to understand, analyze, and distinguish the matter of what is right and wrong, what is admirable and not, what is good and what is right. So according to Frederick and Ferrell 2015, ethics is a behavior or decision made within a group or value. It is also moral standards where you rely on when you make decision. It defines what is right and wrong. It is formed as you are influenced by the people and the environment around you. Okay? So that is ethics according to Ferrell. How about you? Do you have ethics? Moreover, Figar and Dordevic 2016 define ethics as the science of good or bad, just or unjust, moral or immoral behavior. It's also a science which deals with human values, rights, duties, and moral principles in their behavior, according to Stoner, Freeman, and Gilbert 1997. Moreover, let's proceed to the common good. So I know all of you have already heard about this common good. Common good, it means that the behavior of an individual is in the public interest or in the interest of most people. That is according to Figar and Dordevic. If the personal interest is excluded from the interaction, then an individual becomes selfless because he or she takes into account only the interest of others and his or her neglect by Figar and Dordevic. So it only means when we say common good, it does not define or it does not prioritize your interests. So selfless siya. Common good, what is good for the other or what is the interest of others. Ethical issues. Ethical issues are situations involving group, problem, or even an opportunity that requires thorough discussion or investigation before a decision can be made. So there is an issue that requires a thorough discussion. Anything that needs a thorough discussion or not, maybe sometimes immediate solution or immediate decision that requires, that is or that speaks for an ethical issue. So ethical issues, it can be moral, principle, values. So morals, personal philosophies about what is right or wrong. When you talk about principles, These are specific and widespread boundaries of behavior that should not be violated. Values, on the other hand, are enduring beliefs and ideals that are socially enforced. So these are the common ethical issues that is arising. So it can be moral issue, it can be principle or na-touch ng isang tao yung prinsipyo mo or your rule in life, or it's your values that has been touched by the society or by an individual which causes an issue. Okay? So yan yung mga definitions ng moral principles and values. So under these issues, or moreover, there are also issues about trustworthiness. When we talk about trustworthiness, it's about honesty, integrity, reliability, and loyalty. So are you a trustworthy person? Or for example, once nagkasala ang partner mo or once nagkasala ang friend mo sa'yo, there is already a trust issue. Okay? So that is an ethic issue. Next is respect, civility, courtesy, decency, and tolerance. So are you decent when you are in public? Or are you civil? Although your co-employee is talking about you or bad things about you, bad-mouthing about you in your workplace. So, have you able to show respect despite of sa mga pangyayari na ginawa niya sa'yo? Are you still civil? Are you still decent? Are you still professional despite of? Next is responsibility. Responsibility is accountability, the pursuit of excellence, diligence, and perseverance. So responsibility. You are being accountable and responsible for that something. What is that something? If you're entrusted of a position in your classroom or maybe sometime in your company, so you are being tasked as a president. So are you being responsible as a president? So whatever happens to the organization, are you accountable of that? Okay? Next is fairness. Fairness is a process. It means impartiality and equity. Okay? There's no you go to the left or you go to the right. There's no favoritism. It means fairness. So wala kang pinapanigan. Next is caring, heart of ethics. So caring is the heart of ethics. It speaks for concern and responsibilities. Citizenship is obeying the law and behaving as part of the community. Business ethics or corporate ethics is a form of professional ethics that examines the ethical and moral principles and problems that arise in a business environment. This is determined by organization culture. Okay, so when we talk about business ethics, it talks about corporate ethics, and at the same time, corporate ethics is being formed with the organizational culture. So when we talk about culture, it is a way of life. Culture na niya yan. Okay, for example, Filipinos have different culture from the American, from the Japanese. So we both have, or we all have different cultures. And you cannot question Filipinos why they use po and opo. Why they have this gesture of mano po when they meet elders or elders. You cannot also question Japanese that when they are eating, bakit ang ingay? Why do they like to slurp the noodles? Bakit may noise? 'Di ba kung sa atin yan mga Filipinos, we are going to question, ano ba yan? Ang ingay parang baboy. Okay? Or parang kambing kung kumakain. But it's not. You cannot question them because that is their culture. The same is true with business ethics. Okay? You cannot question one organization if they do have that kind of culture, because that is their culture. That is the organizational culture, and that is their way of life. So you just have to respect. Moreover, this organizational culture are their basis of their decision making. If the law cannot enforce, or if hindi na kaya ng mga decree, ng mga memorandum, or ng mga any laws ng civil service organization, or ng mga batas na meron tayo, then that's the time na papasok ang business ethics. And it will help you in finding solution or making decision in an issue or dilemma that you are in. So there are different types of issues which is business ethics is concerned inside the company. One is unethical leadership. Toxic, tyrant leadership. These leaders are oppressive, abusive, manipulative, has intentional and harmful actions by Tepper 2007. So unethical leader, have you encountered those? So there are really people who are in position, and those are toxic, tyrannical. They use their position, 'di ba? So those are unethical leadership, and that is an issue in business ethics. Next is toxic workplace culture. So ang daming chismis. Workplace is full of fighting, drama, and unhappy employees to the point where employees' productivity and well-being are affected. Yes, ang dami. If you are in an organization and if you are in a real world, you cannot, what we call this, you cannot hide from this toxic workplace culture. There's always this one, but you should have the capability to cope up or to adapt or to adjust or anything. Okay? Pero, kung hindi na kaya ang pagka-toxic, then you decide whether you stay or you leave. Okay? Next is discrimination and harassment. It might be verbal, physical, or sexual harassment, and gender or age discrimination in the workplace that is still present. Okay? Especially yung sexual harassment. If you have just read and go through this harassment cases, especially in government offices, so kung may mababasa kayong mga article about that, kahit pala sabihan mo lang ang babae, mag-cut talk ka lang, ano ba yan? Yes, or sitsitan lang ni mo siya, then that is already harassment. Okay? Unrealistic and conflicting goals. Setting goals or target that are hard for the employees to meet. For example, you wanted them to, for example, sa inyo, we wanted you to finish your degree, okay, with highest honor. Ngayon, one of the greatest obstacle is your thesis. But the unrealistic and conflicting goal here is we are not teaching you how to do it. Is it possible to reach your goal? No, it's not. Diba? So that is parang nananaginip ka lang. Okay? So of course, if you set a goal or if you set a target to your employees, it should be attainable. And also, you have to provide way on how to attain them. 'Di ba? Next, misuse of company time. We are very used to it. Ako, I'm guilty of this also. Sometimes only, pero not all the time. Okay? Because there are times that binabawi ko naman. When I'm home, I'm doing the office jobs. Sorry. Misuse of company time. When employees are doing personal errands within the bounds of office hours. Okay. Facebook, 'di ba? So, naubos na ang 2 hours mo sa Facebook na instead you are working